extra YouTube channels. Do it right now. Do it today. And all you have to do.
Everybody, welcome. Here we go. It's that time again. Matt Connarton Unleashed, and we are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in glorious downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Also on Comcast 97 if you're in Manchester. Streaming at WMNHradio.org. And, of course, on the Facebook, on the Matt Connarton Unleashed Facebook page. And you can go to my website, mattconnerton.com, if you'd like, for all of your live streaming options, social media links, contact info, show archives, etc., etc. And hello to our friends at Raw Talk Online. I see Charles in the chat room there. Today is Thursday, July 1, 2021. So welcome, one and all. The number to call today, 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007. You can also text me at 617-917-4476. Tweet me at Matt Connarton or send an email to matt@mattconnerton.com. And, of course, you can always interact and opine in the Facebook live chat. But the best thing to do so that we can hear and enjoy your dulcet tones is to give us a call at 603-250-6007. And I do want to remind you that we are proudly sponsored by the Hop Knot. They're right across the street. I'll wave to them. They won't see it because there is a slight delay. But if you happen to be watching online or on Channel 97, you can see I've got my Hop Knot shirt. Of course, they have delicious gourmet pretzels. They have craft beer. They have wine. They have trivia night. Tonight is Thursday. So the great Bill Cini hosting trivia at the Hop Knot. It's a very, very popular feature. So make sure you check that out if you can. Friday nights at the Hop Knot, they have Grant Lampton playing there from 7 to 9 p.m. We love Grant. Grant is here on this show every Tuesday as Mike Sudderth, which is his real name. Grant Lampton is his alter ego. When he has a guitar in his hands, he magically transforms into Grant Lampton. He doesn't even need to go into a phone booth and change clothes. He just becomes Grant Lampton. But, of course, you know, he comes in here on Tuesdays in the second hour and does his Tweakonomics segment. But Friday nights, he plays live at the Hop Knot from 7 to 9. They also have Sunday brunch. They've got other events coming up this summer. You know, Juneteenth was an enormous success for the Hop Knot. So it's going to be a great summer there. And it's especially when you contrast it with last summer. You know, they made it through, but places like the Hop Knot, other businesses, bars and restaurants generally around here, well, many, many businesses, but especially bars and restaurants, had a pretty rough time. It really is remarkable if you stop and think about where we were 1 year ago at this time and where we are now. Thank God. But please continue to support our wonderful sponsor. Like I always say, great food, great service, and a great family that owns and operates it. So, and we are so honored and privileged to have that association with them. A few programming notes. Tonight, immediately following this show, I will be making my monthly appearance on the Dr. Kevin Show, as I do the first Thursday of every month. The Dr. Kevin Show is live on the Ohm Times Radio Network. That's Ohm as in a meditative Ohm, O-M. So it's omtimes.com/IOM will get you directly to the live stream. So the first Thursday of every month, as soon as I get done here, I call into that show on my cell phone, and we spend the hour from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern discussing politics. So it's almost like unofficially a third hour of this show in a way. So for those of you who get to the end of this show, if you get to the end of this 2 hours and you go, oh my God, I need more Matt Connarton. I need another hour of Matt Connarton. Well, It's your lucky day. So there you go. So, and we'll share that out on social media so you can get the direct link. But yes, ohmtimes.com will get you there. So I look forward to that. Let's see. As far as today's show here, no Easy G Eric Gagnon. Easy G was supposed to be here to do his entertainment report, but I did receive a message from him that, that he is not feeling well. He has not been sleeping and is taking today off. So no Easy G. However, I do have a very important message from him.
Let's all be kind to each other and not call each other names. It's not nice.
Yeah, some wise words from Easy G. So perhaps he'll call in at some point, but he is home today resting. So Eric, I hope you feel better if you're listening. But not that there's any shortage of things to talk about. Quite a bit of news this week, so we'll get to as much of it as we can. But there is so much happening. There's always so much happening these days. It's an embarrassment of riches. It truly is. There's so much to talk about. Tomorrow on the show, I'll be joined in studio by Gracie Gatto, making her return to the show. And I think one or two other people might be joining us as well for that. On her end of things, but I believe she's coming in live to the studio. The last time she joined us, it was via Skype, but I believe she'll be here live. So we look forward to that tomorrow. And then tomorrow night, of course, at 7:30, right here at WMNH 95.3 is Retro Spectrum Radio with Paulie C. And I have the honor and privilege of being Paul's co-host on that show, along with our friend Dan Randlett and DJ Stephen Light from the old Happy Wheels will be here with us tomorrow night as well. And the subject this week, hit songs that you might not have known are actually cover songs. So there you go. There you go. Let's see. Let me give the numbers again, and then I want to say hello to everybody in the Facebook live chat, and then we'll dive into some stuff. 603-250-6007 is the number, 603-250-6007. You can also text me at 617-917-4476. Tweet me at Matt Connarton or send an email to matt@mattconnerton.com. But best thing to do, give us a call, 603-250-6007. Also, too, I just want to remind you, and like I said, I do see him in the chat room, Charles Richardson. I want to thank Charles and his co-host, Karen Anderson, for having me on their program last night, The Charles Richardson Show, which is live every Wednesday and Friday night from 7 to 9 p.m. And I was on last night, and Crazy Joe was on as well. He called in, and it went about the way one would expect. But I think that from my perspective, and I'd be curious to know what Charles thinks or Dirk. I know Dirk Don is in the chat as well, and I know how Jenny feels about it. But I think from my perspective, this is, I think we've kind of reached the end of the Crazy Joe saga. I just don't think there's anything more to get out of it. I know some listeners will be very glad because they hated the Crazy Joe stuff, and other listeners might be disappointed because some of them were as fascinated by it all as I've been. But yeah, I mean, I just think that between Crazy Joe's call into this show yesterday and the experience with him last night on the Charles Richardson Show, I think it's run its course. I really do. Last night on Charles' show, I mean, it was hard to really get a word in. I didn't mind actually just kind of sitting back and letting Crazy Joe, sort of hang himself. But when he called into this show, before that, he'd called into this show yesterday, and I actually showed him, I showed him some patience, and I tried, which I'm sure he didn't appreciate because he doesn't appreciate anything. But, and I let him talk, and I tried to reason with him. I tried to have a real discussion with him about race and prejudice and anti-Semitism and all of that. And I did learn some things about him and his background, some of which surprised me. But I also came to the realization that there is nothing more there to be gained. There were a couple of moments in our conversation yesterday where I saw openings, or what in the moment I perceived to be openings where I might be able to get through to him on some of that stuff, some of his prejudice. But, but I was, my hopes were dashed at every turn. So, and then he, called into Charles' show, and it was just kind of more of the same. Everybody's against him. The whole world is against him. It's all everyone else's fault for not appreciating him and his quote unquote talent and all of that. So, it's just, I think it's run its course, and I know Jenny's exhausted by it. So, and I know, there's also a particular individual who, I'm not going to say who, because I promised someone I respect that I was going to leave that alone. But I do know that there's an individual who's probably also very glad to hear that, because, from their perspective, I guess the one thing worse than being a racist is calling out a racist for being racist. So I'm sure that person is glad I won't be picking on poor Crazy Joe anymore. It is a weird thing when you call out someone for their nonsense, and someone perceives you as the villain, and the racist, the victim. It is a very, very strange feeling. But so be it. So be it. If someone wants to think I'm the bad guy for that, I mean, it seems like a form of victim shaming in a way, right? Not that I consider myself a victim in any sense, but that's fine. So, I think, but yes, I think we have run out the string on Crazy Joe, and I see some folks in the chat room agree. So, this lol cow, I hereby declare, has been fully milked. We have a call. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
It's Christian.
Hey, Christian, how are
you? And I have a lot to say.
Okay.
Okay. I'm glad we're finally putting this to rest with Joe.
Yes.
Okay, because I wasn't able to say what I needed to say last night. I'll say it today.
Yes.
I am beyond sick of this dude.
Yeah.
This racist, anti-Semitic, homophobic piece of garbage.
Yes.
He called the police on me last weekend.
Yes.
And tried to have me charged. That was crossing the line, and I'm glad it's over and done with.
Yes.
Because he took it too far.
Yeah.
This is... no offense to anybody involved in this, but it's all gone too far.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. No.
It's just and last night I wasn't fond of any of it, because I couldn't say what I needed to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
No disrespect to Charles or you or Joe. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. Well, I know there was a technical barrier to something. It had something to do with Joe was calling from a private number or a blocked number somehow. So
That's what he does.
Charles was not able to take calls and merge the calls with Joe still on the line. So.
Oh, don't I know he calls from a private number?
Yeah.
Matt, he called me 10 times in one night.
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
But no, in either way, Joe couldn't face me either way, and he said it to Charles.
Yeah.
You heard it. I don't want to talk to the kid. That's because you can't face me.
Sorry,
That's because you can't accept that I'm going to call you out on your crap.
Right. I'm sorry. I'm just laughing because my phone just randomly made a strange declaration. For a second there, I thought it was the Alexa talking to me. It was actually my phone. Anyway, yes. Well,
But yeah.
Like I said, I think
I've got to say that.
Yeah, I think we're putting a button on it. I just don't think there's anything more to get out of it. I think his unless he at some point creates a new persona to entertain us all with, I just don't think there's anything more there.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest with you, there was nothing there in the first place. He takes everything too far. I've been the same way, but it was like calling the police over a radio beef.
Yeah,
over a radio beef.
Big tough.
Come on,
big bad New Yorker running to the police because someone was mean to him. Yeah, I know.
And I wasn't gonna say anything about it, but now that we're putting a cap on it, it's well, this has got to come out.
Yeah,
because it's I could have called the police, and I had the grounds to call the police for sexual harassment.
Mm-hmm.
Did I know? Because I didn't take it that far. I didn't think of it as real life like that.
Right. Yeah.
It's if you have nothing better to do, then go trash people on your little Facebook page that gets suspended every other month, not even.
Yeah.
And then call the police because you're a comedian and someone didn't agree with what you said, so you got mad at them. That's basically what it was.
Yeah.
He got mad at me because I called him out on his crap.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think what he was saying was funny.
Yep.
And nor does anybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's disgusting.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
And now I'm on one about it. Now I'm irritated. Especially after yesterday. Because, like, you couldn't get a word in, you know? And I saw that, the little bits and pieces. I will say to Charles, good job getting Joe on. I'm going to be honest with you. I doubted it. I doubted you because I didn't see it happening.
Yeah.
I didn't see Joe going through with this.
Right.
No disrespect to Charles. I love Charles to death.
Oh, of course. Yeah, absolutely. Charles is a stand-up dude. And that's by the way,
sure.
that's one of the few, good things that has come out of this is, we've met some great new people, made some great new friends, people I really think are cool, like Dirk Don of Arrogant Media, Dylan Reynolds. And it's also strengthened our friendships and relationships with people who've, stuck up for us and had our backs. You, me, and Jenny, like Charles, like Rocky Huber, who's been very vocal about what he thinks about all this, and other people. So that's been a really nice part about this. People have really, when he's been making these videos trashing us, there's been no shortage of people who've come forward and said, hey, this isn't right. You need to cut this out. These people don't deserve all this hate you're giving them. And that has been really nice. That has been a nice thing that has come out of this. A lot of really good people, a great extended family that we have. So there you go.
For sure. And it's just other people involved themselves in this drama too that shouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous logging into YouTube and seeing a 55-minute podcast Sunday night, trashing you guys.
Well, what do you expect?
From those idiots, dude.
Well, like I said, I guess to some people, the one thing worse than being racist is standing up to a racist. I guess that's not allowed. So, in the eyes of some people, what can you do? I'll never understand that. But.
Nope.
Whatever. It's like Rocky Huber said, they're just jealous. That's ultimately that's what it is. They're jealous.
They're what the young people call clout chasers.
Yes.
They ride your coattails to get followers.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And I've said it from the beginning.
Yep. Well, all right, Christian, let's put the button on that and focus on the positive. And you've got we should remind people, because you called in and mentioned it yesterday, but for anyone who missed it, you've got big news. I'd like to
I've got a residency at Central Ale House every Sunday.
Yes.
Right after Midas.
Absolutely. Sunday nights from 8 to 1 a.m. Yes. Absolutely.
Whenever Midas finishes, actually.
Okay. All right. Very cool. Yes, our own DJ Midas, host of Late Night Delight. He's at the Central Ale House every Sunday from 3 to 8. And now DJ Reckless, Christian LaCoss, 8 to 1 at the Central Ale House. That is fantastic. We're very happy for you. And like I always say, Jenny and I are very proud. And I think everyone here in our extended family is very proud of you. You've worked hard. You really have.
Thank you. That means the world. I said it the other day. It's like I'm living in a movie at the moment.
Yeah.
It's like, you take me 4 years ago, there was no way I'd be where I am today.
Yeah.
There is no way I ever thought I'd be where I am today.
Yeah.
Even with like the drama and stuff like that. Hey, that's life.
Yep.
I mean, it's not every day someone gets the cops called on you.
Yeah.
By someone in New York.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey,
whatever. You
got
know
a good story to tell, man. But yeah, I'm
going
to head out and get ready for tonight.
Now, what do you have tonight?
Absolutely nothing, but I'm going to hope something comes up.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you've been so busy, you have so many shows, I lose track, so I thought maybe you had something booked for tonight.
It's weird to actually not have to play for one night or not have to do anything.
Yeah. I know, you're so used to being so busy.
For sure.
But that's good. You don't want to burn out either, so.
No, Not
a good
again.
thing. That's right.
Burno sucks.
Definitely. All right, Christian. Thank you for the call.
All right, thank you.
All right, man. See ya. All right, Christian LaCoss, also known as DJ Reckless. And yes, he is now at the Central Ale House every Sunday night from 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. doing the DJ thing. And very, very impressive. And we have another call. Let's grab this. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
You can't get rid of me that quickly, Mr. Canary.
Oh, no. Well, that's okay. We
I
actually...
am like... I'm like a cyst.
Well, Crazy Lou, we actually like you. You're the crazy one from New York. We actually like. I don't know what it is about you, but we're oddly fond of Crazy Lou. I don't know what it is. It's something about the name Lou. Yes.
Hey, Canary, listen to me, Canary.
Yes.
Let me speak.
I'm not a bird.
All day yesterday, you didn't let anybody speak on your show.
Right.
And on Carl Riccardo's show, I didn't get a chance to speak either. Listen, I'm suing you.
Oh.
Now, you think I'm a racist, right? If I'm such a racist, how come I hired a Jewish lawyer? Huh?
Well,
Racist. Huh? And I'm anti-Semitic?
Well,
I hired a Jewish lawyer. And if I'm so racist, I took him to lunch to Popeyes today. So you tell me something.
I don't...
You stop telling people. I'm giving you a definition of character suit. And I'm going to sue you.
Oh.
I'm going to sue that Carl Riccardo guy that we spoke with yesterday.
Yes.
And that Albacore Media kid, that punk from Albacore Media.
Albacore Media, yes. Wow, that's... Wow, Crazy Lou. This is quite shocking. I had no idea. Wow. All right.
You heard me. That asbestos media kid, he's a punk. He's defamed me.
Uh-huh.
He's defecated on me and my character.
Wow,
Listen,
that's terrible.
Listen, I'm very upset. And I mean, you know what? I'm going to be Carl Riccardo's co-host. You heard it.
Oh.
He told me to download, and I'm downloading that app. I will be on his show regularly.
StreamYard.
And you're jealous. You're jealous.
I am. Wow.
You know what else you're jealous about? I want to thank you because of all this drama and you getting your minions. I had 44 hits. 44 hits on my website before I got shut down.
Wow.
And guess what?
What?
I had a billionaire media mogul contact me.
Really?
To get a contract. Yeah, I'm going to give you a name, and you're going to sit there. You're going to shake in your New Hampshire boots. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Sumner Redstone. You ever hear of him?
Sumner Redstone contacted you?
Sumner Redstone contacted me.
Wow.
He told me to wait for a call from Roger Ailes. Roger Ailes was going to reach out to me. I'm waiting for him to call me back. But I'm going to have the top-rated show from this media mogul who believes in me, and I want to thank you for that.
Wow. Well, you're welcome, Crazy
Because,
Lou.
you know,
I wish I wish everyone who was crazy from New York City showed me gratitude and appreciated me, but I'm glad Crazy Lou does.
But you're jealous, though. And here's
Well,
the thing. I can't be racist. I'm 1/16th Mexican.
Wow.
So how can I be racist?
That's a great point. Well, yes.
And I mean, would somebody like me from New York on my music show, if I was racist, would I play Lenny Kravitz and Jimi Hendrix?
I don't.
No. Racists don't play that. If I was a racist, would I be playing Cher on my show?
Oh, right, because Cher is Native American. Right. Yeah, I forget that sometimes.
I'm a New Yorker.
Right, you are.
Right? I live in a city where everybody around me is the United States of America.
Uh-huh. That's right.
I don't see color, okay?
Oh.
Everything I see is in whites and grays and taupes. That's what I see.
Well, good for you.
So you and this Albacore Media kid and Carl Riccardo didn't give me a chance yesterday.
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not all high and mighty like you. You must have graduated high school.
I did.
You probably went to college.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I just measly me. You poke on me with my Trump University degree. Millennials like you were born with silver spoons in your mouth, and you're jealous. Because you know what? I've been told. My producer says I have to use plastic spoons because I'll hurt myself.
Oh, no.
And when I say my producer, what I really mean is my therapist. And I'll admit right now in the air, when I talk about my therapist, I'm really talking about my friend Olga, who's a Russian hooker that I hire every Friday night. So,
Sure.
you know,
Yeah.
I'm a real New Yorker, and I'll admit that I pay for sex, just like, other people in New York, like, Donald J. Trump. But anyway.
Yes.
If I'm so racist, why do I go to Asian spas, huh? Exactly.
I'll have to admit, I hadn't considered that, Crazy Lou. I mean, truly, I had not considered that. It had never entered my mind.
I mean, I've been, I'm a true New Yorker. You're just a measly backwoods millennial from New Hampshire because you know computers. Oh, I know technology. Oh, look at me and my fancy friends. Look at me. I'm part of Make-A-Wish Foundation because I hire everybody to come live in my house and be my technicians. Oh, I got producers. I got technicians. I'm a confused old racist man. I mean, I'm not racist, but I'm a confused old man.
Yeah.
And you just keep poking fun at me. All you had to do was give me a call.
Uh-huh.
I mean, my time is important. I'm on New York time.
Oh.
I don't care you were on that Rectum radio. I don't care you were on that show.
Yeah.
That show doesn't even play music. And I want to point something out, too.
Yeah.
You had, yesterday before you had your call with my brother Joe.
Oh, I didn't know you were brothers. Oh, wow.
You had Gene Simmons on your show.
Gene Simmons.
And I want to
Kiss.
correct Gene Simmons because he was promoting this Rectum radio show that you're on.
Yes.
Kiss, a good New York band, have done about 7 cover songs. So I think Gene might have forgot that that he did do some cover songs because he was very confused.
Well,
and I wanted to point out that Gene Simmons, I know he's in his 70s. He's close. I'm close to his age, and I forget too. I forget where I'm going.
Yeah.
Because I've been doing this routine with you. I got boycotted from Facebook. I'm getting hits. I went to my Yahoo's been doing very popular. MySpace has been really good.
Ooh.
Listen, but I'm coming up there because I think you need me on your show. I need to be your co-host.
You think so?
Could you imagine it? The Martin and Canary show, the Martin and Canary Power Hour. We'd be like Martin and Lewis, but Martin and Canary.
Wow. Well, I'm not actually a bird, Crazy Lou. I keep reminding you of that. I don't know where you get canary.
What are you talking about? This is Mad Canary Unleashed.
Well, it's close. You're very, very close.
I don't know.
So close.
You always pick it on me. I have a learning disability and a speech impediment. That's why I don't get people's names right.
Oh, okay. Well, that's understandable. Yes.
So, I mean, you're picking on me, and you like to abuse old men. That's what you millennials do. And then when you millennials pick on me, you pull out a race card. And you say, oh, he's racist.
Right.
Yeah, instead of calling me stupid, you call me racist. When you know I'm just stupid. That's what it is. I'm just a stupid old man.
The two are not mutually exclusive.
I mean, but you call me racist because you don't want to use, the other R word when you talk about me because that's what I am. But I don't want to go there.
That's very un-PC. Yes, we don't use that word. At least not on this program. We don't use that word. Yeah.
This is a extraterrestrial radio you're on. I mean, when my show with Some to Revstone, we're going to be on the interwebs.
Oh, good.
But I think I looked at the rating. Your show was off the charts yesterday because of me. And it's like, and I realized that, so I went to MapQuest and I printed out a map. I'm going to be coming up to Manchester, and I'm going to be joining you full-time. I hope that's okay with you. I'm going to be joining you as your co-host because I know we're both going to help each other's careers. And I got the MapQuest printed out. Somebody told me that the radio station's above a Mexican restaurant, so because I am 1/16 Hispanic, I should be allowed to go in. And I'm going to be there. I got my MapQuest printed out, and I'm going to leave Schenectady, and I'm going to head over there, and I'm going to be your new co-host because you invited me. And Carl Ricardo told me yesterday, with that sexy co-host of his, that I was going to be the other co-host, and we were going to do, sexy talk.
Wow. By the way, anyone is allowed to eat at margaritas, just to clarify that, Crazy Lou.
Well, not here in Schenectady.
Oh, well, I don't know how things work out in New York City.
Here in the heart of New York City, they don't just let everybody in those places. You got to make a reservation, and you got to show your green card. You know what I mean?
Schenectady, one of the 6 boroughs. I understand.
The only borough that matters to you.
That's right.
Backwoods. Listen, my show, I put together a playlist of my show. I'm going to have the best New York rock and roll on my show.
Uh-huh.
I'm featuring the first show. I'm going to be playing only the best songs from The Who, the Rolling Stones, right? I'm going to be playing U2. I'm going to be playing the Kinks. I'm playing true New York rock and roll bands from New York City.
Yep.
True New Yorkers. Not like the crap that you play there, your hippity hoppy, your rappity rap, and then that crap on the Rectum show and your IBS IBS station, which I was going to be a part of.
Yes.
But after finding out how horrible it is to work with you because you don't want to help.
Right. Which I do.
I will take Mr. Redstone up on his offer.
He's going to make you a big star, or you're going to make him a big star, I think.
I hope. I mean, he didn't really say much when I was talking to him, but
really?
He was vacationing. Yeah, he was in a weird, like, it was a very small room. It was almost the size of a coffin, but it was just. But he told me that I was going to have a show.
All right. Well, very good. Well, it's not official until the ink on the contract is dry. But I wish you luck with that.
I don't need contractors. New Yorkers don't have contracts, Mr. Conniption.
Everything's a handshake
So
deal.
you put a tack in this whole fight, but in a couple of days you're gonna look at your ratings and they're gonna just go down the drain, and you're gonna be like, you know what? I need Joe, I need Lou, I need New York people on my show.
Yeah.
And you're gonna come crawling back. You're gonna be posting stuff on Face Junk. I'll see you. And your minions will come out of nowhere, and they'll just say, "Oh, I like you. You're crazy. You're not funny." And I'm just gonna feed off all of that.
Like a vampire.
We help each other.
Yes.
We are on the radar because of each other.
Right.
So you need to be kissing my butt and thanking me for what I've done for you and your show.
Right.
From what I've heard, now I got a call from the mayor of Manchester, New Hampshire. Now, he told me you had the #1 rated show because of me.
That's right.
That's what the mayor told me.
Right. Yes. That's true. I'm #1, and I owe it all to Crazy Lou. Well, very good.
Right, you do.
That's right. Well, there you go.
With that, I'm going to bid you goodbye for now, because you know what? You're welcome. And I'll wait for my apology. I will be on Facebook Live now because I've gone under a new handle on Facebook Live, so I can get but I'm going to be waiting for you to end your show and give me an apology on Facebook. I'll be waiting for your video.
All right, make sure you tune in and right up until the very end.
And be sure to tune in next week when I'm on Carl's show.
Oh, yes. Well, we look forward to hearing you.
I'm going to be broadcasting with him, and I guess he's in Florida. Now, I like people in Florida.
That actually is a good idea. I'm sorry. Yes, you like people in Florida. Yes, of course.
So I'll be on his show anytime and every time. So he's got a new friend.
Well, good. I'm sure he's very excited. For real.
He should be.
Yes.
He should be.
That's right.
But I'm leaving you now. I got to go. I got to get some graham crackers in me. And I got to find out from my IT tech over here, Timmy. Timmy's supposed to help me download something. Timmy, he's the smartest friend I have. He has a 7th grade education. So he's going to teach me how to get this what is it called, Timmy? A Commodore 64. That's what I'm using. So I'm going to try to figure out how to get on that internet with my Commodore 64 computer that Timmy brought for me. So thank you. And I also have an Amazon tablet. So I have a Commodore 64 and an Amazon tablet that I'll be doing my show from. And I'll be in touch with you because I'll be co-hosting your show soon, and I'm going to be on Carl's show later.
Those Amazon tablets are great. I wish I had one. All right, very good, Crazy Lou. Thank you for the call.
Have a good day.
All right, bye-bye.
You in grace.
Okay, bye-bye, Crazy Lou. Wow, very good. Wow, Crazy Lou. You know what's odd, though? Crazy Lou, I actually, he's a crazy person that I find oddly charming. I'm not sure what it is about him. He reminds me of someone who I don't find charming at all, and yet I find Crazy Lou oddly charming. I can't quite figure out why. Maybe he reminds me he clearly reminds me of another crazy person. Apparently it's his brother, but he reminds me of somebody else. I don't know what it is, but anyway, well, There we go. We heard from Crazy Lou. I do like the idea. I do like the idea of Crazy Lou joining Charles Richardson on the Charles Richardson Show. Not the other guy, but Crazy Lou, I think, would be quite nice. Well, that opens up a line for you, 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007. You can also text me at 617-917-4476. Tweet me at Matt Connarton or send an email to matt@mattconnerton.com. And, of course, you can opine and interact in the Facebook live chat. And we will say hello to everybody in there in a moment. But best thing to do, give us a call, 603-250-6007. And we do have a call. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Can I get an understanding? How many co-hosts am I supposed to have now when I do my show?
Well,
I mean, I think I'm racking up like 5 or 6 co-hosts, and like a few of them are crazy.
Well, Charles, I think, though, Crazy Lou might actually have a shot with his Commodore 64 of figuring out how to join you. So I think that's great. I remember the Commodore 64, by the way, when I was a kid. I remember actually being jealous of a friend who had one because I had an Atari 800, and the Atari 800 had only, 48K of memory, but the Commodore 64 had 64K. I was very jealous. True story.
I had a TSR 80. Does that count?
Oh, I remember those. We had those in school when I was a kid. The TSR 80,
Those are jokes. You know what? It took me later on in life to realize I got so hosed by my parents with the computer.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is the greatest thing. No, it's not.
Well, but at that time it was, right? I mean, you know.
No, it wasn't even at that time. This is a Radio Shack POS.
Wasn't it a knockoff of something? Was it a knockoff of the Atari?
No, well, I think it was supposed to be because it came, with the cartridge like Atari. And you know what? Now I think about it, it was. And now I just realized that.
Yeah. Rob Dion in the chat says he had a VIC-20 and then a Commodore 64. I remember the VIC-20. I didn't have one, but I remember it.
You know, I remember in middle school they had the Apple computers. You know, the big ones that look like bricks.
Oh,
like
yeah.
The ones that you start playing the Oregon Trail on.
What was it called? An Apple IIe or something? Something like that?
No.
I know what you're talking about. I do remember them.
Yeah, I think it was the Macintosh. I think they just called it the Macintosh.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, it's one of those with the 3.5 inch floppies.
Mm-hmm. The floppy disks, yep.
You know what? If I had one of those, I think I'd be able to retire. Those things like go for buco bucks now.
Do they?
Well, because they're like relics. They're like the first edition, like any first edition of anything.
Yeah.
You have to take a look at the value. The value is just going to, especially if there was a starting trend on probably the most popular computers that are out there now.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it makes sense.
So, but yeah, it's just like I don't know who I'm supposed to have on the show on Friday. I don't know who I'm supposed to. I'm confused.
Mm-hmm.
I really am, and I don't know what I got myself into. I think I need a lot of drinks tonight.
Well, I think you should give Crazy Lou a shot.
Yeah, I mean, as long as he can go ahead and get my name right, I think he's got a shot. But he's got to get my name right, and I think that's a tall task.
Yeah. What do you call you? Carl Ricardo or something?
Carl Ricardo.
Yeah. That's close.
But you know what? What's weird is at one point in the conversation, he said he's going to sue you and sue me, but he's going to be co-hosts.
Right.
I'm confused, Matt.
Well,
I need help.
I think there's a method to that. You know, I think what he'll do is he's going to sue everybody, and then part of the settlement agreement will be that he gets to co-host.
Oh God! Can I just shut my show down then?
Well, you could. I mean, it would be a shame.
You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and change my name. It's gonna be Crazy Carl.
Yeah.
Just might as well. You know what? It's one of those things. If you can't beat them, join them, right?
Sure.
Crazy Carl. That actually flows off the tongue pretty well.
Crazy Carl. I like it.
Crazy Carl.
Yeah.
I do.
All right.
Matt, you have a great show, man. It was a pleasure having you on last night. Sorry that I think you were limited to like a 15-word count. I'm sorry, that was not my intention.
No, that's okay though. I didn't mind just kind of sitting back and letting him hang himself. I kind of thought that might be how it went anyway. So no, that's cool. No worries. I appreciate you having me on. Anytime. It was wonderful to join you.
Of course. Now get the big shotgun and shoot this cow in the head and put it to bed.
I think the lol cow has been fully milked. Definitely.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Have a good one, man.
All right, Charles. Thank you for the call. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, Charles Richardson from the Charles Richardson Show. And that opens up a line for you, 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007. I do want to say hello to everybody in the Facebook Live chat. Very busy show so far, which we love. Oh, we have another call, in fact. Very busy show today. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Hey, this is Dirk. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, good, Dirk. How are you? Yes.
I need your help here. I know that you're on the air, but I desperately need your help. Can you let Charles know that the demo that I recorded for him is going to be on the way? I got the cassette for him. I put it in the box, and it's going through USPS to him right now.
Oh, okay. Very good.
Yeah. So this way I can be his co-host.
Right. Well, I'm glad that you figured out how to put the cassette in the box and to ship it. I mean, that's phenomenal.
Well, not without my mom's help, but
yeah.
I mean, I don't know this stuff. I'm just an old guy, but
yeah.
Also, Crazy Joe's supposed to be joining my show as a co-host too. So I'll have to try to reach him and get that all squared away. So it's great new changes, a brand new horizon coming along. So let's have fun here. Yes.
I suggest ditching Crazy Joe and working with Crazy Lou. I think you'd find that more productive, but that's just a suggestion.
Oh, no. If I don't put Crazy Joe on my show, he'll probably sue me or something.
Oh, that's true. That's a good point. Yeah, I understand. Yeah. Well, there you go. He's going to sue to success.
That's the way you climb the ladder.
That's
all
right.
right. Thanks. Okay, bye.
All right, Dirk. Thank you. All right. That was the great Dirk Don from Arrogant Media. Dirk released a new video today about Metalocalypse. Metal. Am I saying that correctly? I never say it correctly. Metalocalypse. I think I did say it correctly. Maybe I said it correctly. Very good. 603-250-6007 is the number. 603-250-6007. Dirk is one of the wonderful new friends that we've made throughout all this stuff. But let's say hello to Texas Mike is in the chat room. Mike says, my meme is officially in town. Cannot wait to bring her in studio. I cannot wait to meet your meme, Texas Mike. And I know she's a big fan of mine. She can't wait to meet me. Very exciting. We have a call. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Hey, sweetie. Hi, it's Jenny. Look, I know you're on the air right now, but I forgot before you left the house. Which way did you want me to put the toilet paper roll? Was it roll under or roll over?
Well, Jenny, I mean, you kind of should know this by now, but I do prefer it over because if it's under, then I have to reach that much further to get to it. I mean,
I forgot. Thank you for stopping everything to correct that for me.
Well, you're welcome. I just maybe we can. I'll remind you again later. But yes, please. Over is always better.
Do we know how dumb I am? All righty. Thank you.
When in doubt.
Go back to your show, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Bye-bye. All right. That was, I mean, it's got to be over, but sometimes people need to be reminded of these things. And I'm glad she took the initiative to call. That's fine. Let's see. Yes, but Texas Mike's meme, if you don't know, she listens to us on our affiliate in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas, KCOW. That's why for a while we were doing a cattle report here on the program. It was a contractual obligation. Let's see. So we look forward to meeting Texas Mike's meme. Dirk Don, who called us, he is also in the chat room. He's calling me Dr. Cream. Ricky Litwinkowicz is in the chat room. Hello, Ricky. Nice to see you in there. Ricky, of course, the host of Pain Train, Pipe Bomb, and actually Ricky does several shows that are available online. Jenny is in the chat room as well, and Jenny says, Shalom. Wayne Noel, all the way from Michigan, is a top fan and joins us in the Facebook Live chat. Scott Robinson joins us in the chat and says, by the way, Scott, if you didn't hear me say earlier, Easy G will not be doing an entertainment report today, but he's not feeling well, but he did have some very good words of wisdom for us all. I'll just share them again, just to remind everybody.
Let's all be kind to each other and not call each other names. It's not nice.
That's right. Yes. Thank you, Easy G. Scott Robinson says, Matt, just wondering, is your opening music from you or did you just find it? Well, so that the song that I play, I don't know if you're talking about this, Scott. The song that I play was created for us, produced for us by a gentleman named Matt DaCosta from Intrepid Acoustics. So that's an original song. The song that I played before that was... If you mean that, because I'm not sure which song you mean, but, I usually open with a song. I get a lot of stuff. I like to play, I should mention them more. They're one of my favorite YouTubers, the Remix Bros. And that was Joe Biden versus Vladimir Putin remix by the Remix Bros. But so there you go. I do play a lot of their stuff. Charles Richardson says, that's a good question. I like the opening riff. Yeah. Yeah, that was Matt DaCosta who made that for me. Melanie La Liberté is in the Facebook Live chat. Hello, Melanie. Also, Rob Dion, who is a top fan and part of the WMNH family. Rob, of course, is the host of Through the Stage Door, one of the shows here on the station, and the entertainment reporter on the morning show. You can hear Rob every Thursday morning. Brings in his keyboard, does Name That Tune with everybody. Very, very popular segment. Let's see. Dirk Don says, Crazy Joe is incapable of having a conversation. He doesn't talk to you. He talks at you like a narcissist and does not care if he's wasting anyone's time. I would suggest not letting him have time with you on the air because it can be used better. Yeah, I agree. Like I said, I think that's played itself out. Mike Pelopita from another one of our wonderful sponsors here at WMNH 95.3, Queen City Cabinetry in the historic Sunbeam Mall, says, good afternoon, Matt. Hello, everyone. Rob Dion says, will be great to move on from this finally. Back to your great show. Thanks, Rob. Let's see. Wayne Noel says, referring to Crazy Joe's call of the police on Christian, he lives in New York, so the police wouldn't have done anything anyway. Yeah, absolutely. Nemi Jones joins us in the Facebook Live chat. I don't think I've seen Nemi in here, or at least not in a long time. Hello, Nemi. Nice to see you in there. Shannon McGuire also joins us and says, hello. Charles Richardson says, Crazy Lou is awesome. Let's see. Karen Cubitt is in the chat room. Hello, Karen. Just want to make sure we don't miss anybody in here. And then I do want to get into some stuff because there's a lot to talk about. Oh, John Monroe joins us in the chat. John says, hello, Matt. First time watcher. Thanks to Charles Richardson. Well, very nice to meet you, John. Let's see. A couple of these I don't want to read just because, I do want to read them, but I don't want to, it is FM radio. Oh, boy. I think we're about caught up with everybody in here, actually. Oh, Nemi enjoyed Jenny's call. She says, I haven't heard your voice in so long, Jenny. Very nice. Very nice. Scott Robinson is very disappointed that Easy G won't be here. Benji Day joins us in the chat room. Hello, Benji. Benji recently got a new job he's very excited about, which is nice to see. And we're caught up with everybody in there. So let's see. What have we got for time? Oh, Andrew Joseph joins us in the chat room and says, hello from Ireland. I love it when we go international. Hello, Andrew, and welcome to the program. Let me give the number again, and then we'll squeeze in a quick article, and then we'll go on to some news before the break at the top of the hour. But 603-250-6007 if you'd like to dial in, 603-250-6007. Heck, if you want to do that, the country code, you can, I I think it's 01, right? You can call us from Ireland if you want. Oh, I see Stephen Light is in the chat room. Hello, Steve. DJ Steve, who will be joining us Friday night on Retro Spectrum Radio. But yes, 603-250-6007 is the number to call. You can also text me at 617-917-4476. Tweet me at Matt Connarton, or send an email to matt@mattconnerton.com. And it is an embarrassment of riches, my friends, because there is so much news to discuss. But and I do want to talk about what is happening with the Trump administration. The Trump organization. Wow, it's like I'm time traveling. The Trump organization and Weisselberg and all of that. But I think we'll save that for the second hour. That's a big story. Something that did pop up, and it's not necessarily in anyone's top 5 list of news items today, but I saw it on Reuters, and this is a story that I've been watching, and I think it's pretty interesting, and it's something we can do quickly before we hit the break at the top of the hour. But Reuters is reporting at this hour, Iran is restricting the IAEA access to main enrichment plant after attack. So here's what's happening. Iran has been restricting UN, again, this is from Reuters, restricting UN nuclear inspectors' access to its main uranium enrichment plant at, and I'm not sure how to say this, is it Natanz? Citing security concerns after what it says was an attack on the site by Israel in April, according to diplomats. The standoff, which one official said was going on for several weeks, is in the course of being resolved, diplomats said, but it has also raised tensions with the West, just as indirect talks between Iran and the United States on reviving the Iran nuclear deal have adjourned without a date set for their resumption. Now, again, I've been following this closely because one of the things that I would like to see happen, ideally, under the Biden administration, is for us to rejoin the Iran nuclear deal. You may recall that when the Trump administration pulled us out of that, the deal itself remained in place because, the European Union was also participating in the deal and trying to get Iran at the time. I remember Angela Merkel of Germany, even, I think she said it outright, we want to try to get Iran to continue to comply until the United States is able to rejoin in the future if they decide to do so, which I think was sort of coded language for saying, hopefully if we get a new administration, if the United States gets a new administration, they will rejoin. And the JCPOA, is that, if I got those letters in the right order? And, in the meantime, the IAEA, the International Atomic Energy Association, if I have that right, or agency rather, I'm sorry, it's agency, they've been going in and doing inspections, but the United States has had no part in any of that for a while now because Trump pulled us out. And I think the only reason Trump pulled us out, when Trump was running for president in 2016, he seemed to suggest that whatever Obama did, he wanted to undo. I mean, that seemed to be a big part of his campaign promises. And it was the Obama administration that negotiated the Iran nuclear deal. Now, the Iran nuclear deal, not perfect, but, the old saying, don't let perfect be the enemy of the good. It was far from perfect, but Trump kept saying, again, his calling card was, his calling cards was, I'm a great deal maker. So we're going to rip up the old deal and we're going to make a new deal and we're going to make a better deal. And I'm going to have these great negotiators and we're going to make a great deal. And of course, he pulled us out of the old deal. And I don't think there was ever any discussion of even attempting a new deal. Just a lot of threats and saber rattling. Where are all these deals that Trump was supposed to make, whether it be a new deal with Iran or a deal with North Korea? The great deal maker didn't make too many deals. I'm not saying he didn't make any, but he didn't. There's some important details in terms of foreign policy that I think should have been made. But hopefully we will be rejoining the Iran nuclear deal or creating something new. But in the meantime, we're going to keep hitting these snags. Now, some people have been critical of the Biden administration for launching these attacks, I'm not sure I'm comfortable with it either, to be honest with you. But it says here, again, getting back to this Reuters article, the standoff, which one official said has been going on for weeks. Actually, let me skip down. Sorry, I did that already. It follows various moves by Iran that breach the 2015 nuclear deal or have angered Washington and its allies, ranging from enriching uranium to close to weapons grade to failing to explain the origin of uranium particles that the UN nuclear watchdog found at several undeclared sites. So, if I understand it correctly, the reason the inspections have continued is because, like I said, the deal is still in place. We're just no longer a party to it. They are provoking us, said one Western diplomat who follows the International Atomic Energy Agency closely, adding that inspectors should be able to have full access next week. Iranian officials were not immediately available for comment. The IAEA declined comment, citing its general policy of not commenting on inspection matters. Any reasons for Iran's move beyond the official security and safety concerns, if cited as explanations, are unclear, but it has quarreled with the IAEA over access before. Iran in 2020 denied the IAEA access to 2 locations for SNAP inspections. In 2019, Iran held an IAEA inspector and seized her travel documents. The IAEA has so far stopped short of reporting the issue to its member states and calling an emergency meeting of its 35-nation Board of Governors, as it did in November 2019 when Iran briefly held the inspector for who diplomats say had sought access to Natanz. An explosion and power cut in April at Natanz, the heart of Iran's nuclear enrichment program, appears to have damaged centrifuges at the underground commercial-scale fuel enrichment plant. The last quarterly IAEA report on Iran in May showed its enrichment output had slowed. So this goes on. There's more to it, but that's what's happening. But I do hope that there are further negotiations for us to rejoin that agreement. Melanie in the chat room says the deals will be made when he is reinstated in August. Oh, yes, that's right. When President Trump is reinstated in August, that is apparently one of the working theories among the Q people, and Trump himself allegedly has been telling people he does expect to be reinstated in August. Scott Robinson said he made lots of deals with white supremacist organizations. A provocative statement from Scott. I'm not necessarily going to argue with it, but a provocative statement. Anyway, let's see. Let's take a quick break as we are at the top of the hour. And then we will be back with hour number 2 of Matt Connarton Unleashed coming up. We'll play a little something and show some love to our sponsors so we can pay the bills. And we'll be right back. Don't go away. Plenty more to come.
And we hope that whoever did the bad deed will get the message.
Welcome back, everybody. We are into hour number 2, numero dos of Matt Connarton Unleashed, and we are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in glorious downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Also on Comcast 97 if you're in Manchester, streaming at WMNHradio.org, and on the Facebook on the Matt Connarton Unleashed Facebook page. And of course, you can go to my website, mattconnerton.com, for all your live streaming options and social media links and contact info and show archives and all of that. Hello to our friends at Raw Talk Online. Today is Thursday, July 1, 2021, as we are into hour number 2, numero dos of the show. And wonderful to have you all with me. I do want to remind you, of course, that we are proudly sponsored by the Hop Knot in the Brady Sullivan at 1000 Elm Street. If you're watching online or on Channel 97, you can see I've got my wonderful Hop Knot shirt. They have delicious gourmet pretzels. They have craft beer. They have wine. They have trivia tonight. Bill Cini doing trivia night at the Hop Knot, as he does every Thursday. Friday night, the great Grant Lampton performing live from 7 to 9 p.m. They have Sunday brunch. They have some more great events coming up this summer. So such a wonderful place, and it's owned and operated by a wonderful family. The Hop Knot on Elm right here in downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. If you would like to give us a call on the show today, you can at 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007. You can also text me at 617-917-4476. Tweet me at Matt Connarton or send an email to matt@mattconnerton.com. And of course, you can interact in the Facebook live chat, but the best thing to do is give us a call at 603-250-6007. A couple of programming notes. So if you're just tuning in, expecting EZG Eric Gagnon to be here, he was not feeling so great, so he's at home resting today. So no entertainment report from Eric today, but that's all right. Hopefully he's resting comfortably. But tonight, immediately following this program, I will be, as I do the first Thursday of every month, I will be calling in to the Dr. Kevin Show, which is from 6 to 7 p.m. So, like I say, if you get to the end of this show and you just feel like you need more Matt Connarton, there is an option for you. So the Dr. Kevin Show is on the OM Times Radio Network. That's OM, O-M. omtimes.com/IOM will get you there directly. And Dr. Kevin and I discuss politics and current events for the hour from 6 to 7 p.m. online. And if you don't get to listen to it live, of course, it'll be archived and up for later. So it's kind of almost like an unofficial third hour of the show. So I look forward to that, and I hope you'll tune in and check that out. Tomorrow on this program, we'll be joined in studio by Gracie Gatto. And, she's an activist, and she's going to be coming in talking about a variety of issues. And there might be a couple of other people joining us as well for that. So I think that'll be very interesting. And then, of course, tomorrow night from 7:30 to 10 p.m., it's Retro Spectrum Radio with Paulie C. And I am Paul's co-host on that show, along with our friend Dan Randlett. And we will be joined in studio by Stephen Light, also known as DJ Steve, for that show as well. So that will be a lot of fun. I always look forward to that. Friday nights are fun. And the subject on Retro Spectrum Radio this week is hit songs that you might not have realized actually are cover songs. So we look forward to that. So that'll be a lot of fun. But in the meantime, give me a call, 603-250-6007. And I want to say hello to people in the Facebook live chat who came in just in the last few minutes. Very busy chat room today. Eric Street joins us. Eric is a top fan. Says, hard to believe August is next month. Yes, well, August will be here before you know it. So if you're part of the MAGA cult, if you're into QAnon, August will be very consequential for you because, the Q people believe, of course, that August is when Trump will be reinstated as president of the United States. Very exciting. Sorry, I needed a big gulp of water there. Just the thought of that makes me feel like I've got something stuck in my throat. But very exciting for the Q people and the MAGA people. So August, right around the corner. I bet they're on pins and needles. Abigail Jem joins us in the chat. Abigail says, hey there. And Scott Robinson, very disappointed that EZG is not here. I did hint at other big news. Of course, this is something I'm sure you're all already aware of. Everybody's reporting on it, but let's see. Let's go to CNBC, I think probably is the best article on this. It has begun. Trump Organization indictment alleges years-long scheme to dodge taxes on executive compensation. Some bullet points. The Trump Organization and Chief Financial Officer Alan Weisselberg pleaded not guilty today to crimes related to what prosecutors called a sweeping and audacious scheme to avoid taxes on compensation for the CFO and other executives. The company is owned by former President Donald Trump, who was not charged. A 15-count indictment says the Trump Organization and Weisselberg devised a scheme to compensate Weisselberg and other company executives in an off-the-books manner in which they, quote, received substantial portions of their income through indirect and disguised means. A prosecutor in court said that the former CEO of the Trump Organization, ex-President Trump, quote, signed himself many of the illegal compensation checks to executives. Ew. Let's see. Dirk in the chat room says, oh, QAnon. Did you know that QAnon was a carefully crafted joke from 4chan that exploded bigger than they anticipated? Yeah, I would imagine, Dirk, and I have read that and heard that. I would imagine that many a conspiracy theory has started that way. For example, the flat earthers, that probably started as a joke that somebody came up with. Hey, wouldn't it be funny if the earth was actually flat? And the next thing you know, millions of people believe in it. John Monroe says, here today in Connecticut, we can now buy municipal marijuana. Went into effect. Very good. If we have time, I have something on that I want to get to as well today. So I'm glad you brought that up, John, and that's good. You know, I oppose, of course, the prohibition against cannabis. Actually, I oppose the drug war in its entirety, but especially the prohibition. Oh, Dirk says, yep, the Flat Earth Society started as a joke. Oh, that's funny. I didn't know that, but I'm not surprised. That's funny. Wow. All right, so some details on this story, what has happened today. The Trump Organization and its chief financial officer, Alan Weisselberg, pleaded not guilty to crimes related to what prosecutors called a sweeping and audacious scheme since 2005 to avoid taxes on compensation. The 15-count indictment, which was broader in scope than many legal observers had expected, is the first set of criminal claims in what are ongoing probes of Trump and his company by the Manhattan District Attorney's Office and the New York State Attorney General's Office. By the way, now before I go any further with this, if you're a longtime listener of the show, you know, especially if you've been with me for a few years, you know that I've said all along, I've predicted, the real true danger to Donald Trump was never the Mueller investigation, the Mueller probe. I never was particularly sold on the idea that Trump himself directly colluded with the Russians, for example, on the election. I mean, I was never going to rule it out, but I never felt particularly, at least on a gut level, strongly that he himself had. Now, I believed it was possible that people working for him had, and in fact, we did eventually find out, not from the Mueller probe itself, but from Paul Manafort's lawyers, who kind of let it slip through some documents that were released, that Paul Manafort, while chairman of the Trump campaign, was in fact sharing information with the Russians. But I never thought that the Mueller probe was necessarily the greatest danger to Donald Trump. I always felt that the true danger to Trump was not Mueller's federal probe, but the state probe going on in the state of New York, the New York State Attorney General's office. I felt that that was the single greatest danger to Trump in the Manhattan District Attorney's office. Remember, it was a judge in the state of New York who ruled, I should say, ruled would be the right word, that not Trump nor any member of Trump's family may ever again run a charity or serve on the board of a charity in the state of New York ever again, because they were caught double dealing. Or there's another term for it, what they were doing. But anyway, or self-dealing rather. I'm sorry, not double dealing. Self-dealing is the correct term with the Trump Foundation or whatever. So so a judge ruled you can't do charities anymore because they're fake and you're defrauding people. So that continues to be the greatest threat to Trump. And now it's playing out. It's playing out. Oh, John Monroe says Paul Manafort is from my hometown of New Britain, Connecticut. Oh, very good. We have a call. We'll grab this. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
This is your nemesis.
Yeah, what you got, Crazy Joe? Make it really interesting, or I'm going to hang up real quick because I feel like this whole thing is played out.
No. I don't want to talk to you that long. I'm just going to talk to you for 20 seconds.
Okay.
That this is going to be over when I say it's over, that you and I are going to be entrenched in Mortal Kombat on the air like we've been doing for the rest of your life and my life. So you're younger than me. I'm going to go before you. You'll have to wait till I die, and then this is over. Or technically, I say it's over. Okay, that's all I want to say.
All right, Crazy Joe. All right. I don't know what any of that means, but there we go. Oh, what's Crazy Joe gonna do when his big hero ends up in prison? Anyway, the indictment says the Trump Organization and Weisselberg devised the scheme to compensate Weisselberg and other company executives in an off-the-books manner, allowing them to receive substantial portions of their income through indirect or disguised means. Weisselberg, 73, himself had the rent, utilities, and garage expenses paid for his apartment on Manhattan's Upper West Side, paid for by the Trump Organization without that compensation being reported to tax authorities and without paying related taxes, the indictment says. He also received from the Trump Organization the benefit of personal Mercedes-Benzes for him and his wife, private school tuition for related children, and unreported cash to be used for holiday tips, all of which was hidden from tax authorities, the indictment said. In all, Weisselberg alone received about $1.76 million worth of, quote, indirect compensation, on which no taxes were paid, the indictment said. He evaded paying more than $900,000 in taxes that should have been paid and received more than $136,000 in falsely claimed refunds, according to the indictment, which was issued by a special grand jury sitting in Manhattan. A prosecutor in court on Thursday said that the former CEO of the Trump Organization, ex-President Trump, quote, signed himself many of the illegal compensation checks to executives, unquote. Trump himself was not criminally charged in the case. The scheme, quote, was orchestrated by the most senior executives who were financially benefiting themselves by getting secret pay raises at the expense of state and federal taxpayers, unquote, said Carrie Dunn, a prosecutor from DA Cyrus Vance Jr.'s office, during the assignment of the defendants in Manhattan Supreme Court. Oh, I'm sorry, during the arraignment, not assignment, of the defendants in court. The indictment says that Weisselberg and the company also schemed to, quote, conceal his status as a New York City resident and enabled Weisselberg to avoid the payment of New York City income taxes, unquote, which are very high from what I understand. It's extraordinarily expensive to live in New York City. I never have, but it's kind of a foreign concept to probably most of us, right? But New York City, so in New York, not only do you have federal income tax and you have state income tax and all the other taxes, but there's also a city tax. I mean, not that cities don't have taxes usually, like, you know, cities have property taxes and things like that. But to have a city income tax or these other taxes that the city of New York has makes New York City unique in that way. Let's see. Weisselberg, who has worked for the Trump family for 48 years, for much of the scheme's time frame, had another residence on Long Island, New York. But the indictment says that since 2005, he, quote, spent most of his days in New York City, unquote, which would make him a city resident for tax purposes. The indictment says that the Trump Organization maintained spreadsheets to track the value of the compensation paid Weisselberg and others, which was not disclosed to either the IRS or the New York State and city tax authorities. The indictment refers to conduct by an unindicted co-conspirator who participated in the scheme. That person is not Trump himself, nor is it his two adult sons, Donald Jr. and Eric, who currently operate the Trump Organization, according to NBC News, which cited a law enforcement official. Weisselberg, who surrendered to the DA's office early Thursday morning, was taken into a courtroom in handcuffs by authorities while wearing a white mask. Weisselberg's attorney told a judge that the defense team objected to the claims of prosecutors. Vance and James were both in court during the arraignment, where a judge ordered the parties back to court on September 20th for a status conference. Last year, Vance won a legal battle that allowed him to obtain years of ex-President Trump's tax records and other financial documents from his longtime accounting firm. Dunn said during the hearing that contrary to the claims of Trump himself, the alleged scheme was not a, quote, standard practice in the business community. The case is not about politics. The investigation, which is ongoing, is proper. Contrary to the defense assertions, there is no clearer example of a company that should be held to criminal account, unquote. The Trump Organization and related entities were charged with Weisselberg with scheme to defraud in the first degree, fourth degree conspiracy, criminal tax fraud, and in the third and fourth degree, and falsifying business records. Weisselberg is also charged with grand larceny in the second degree larceny. He was released without bail after being ordered to surrender his passport and told to clear any foreign travel plans with a judge. New York Attorney General Letitia James said, quote, today is an important marker in the ongoing criminal investigation of the Trump Organization and its CFO, Alan Weisselberg. In the indictment, we allege, among other things, financial wrongdoing whereby the Trump Organization engaged in a scheme with Mr. Weisselberg to avoid paying taxes on certain compensation. This investigation will continue, and we will follow the facts and the law wherever they may lead, unquote. Trump's former personal lawyer, Michael Cohen, remember him, has repeatedly met with Vance's investigators to assist them with their probe. Weisselberg's former daughter-in-law, Jennifer Weisselberg, also has given prosecutors information. Her lawyer, Duncan Levin, said, quote, we have been working with prosecutors for many months now as part of this tax and financial investigation and have provided a large volume of evidence that allowed them to bring these charges. We are gratified to hear that the DA's office is moving forward with a criminal case, unquote. Jennifer's ex-husband, Barry Weisselberg, also works for the Trump Organization, and the indictment reflected Jennifer's public claims. Barry lives rent-free in a Central Park South apartment owned by the Trump Organization for years. Barry Weisselberg was not charged in the indictment, which did not identify him by name as the recipient of the rent-free apartment. But the indictment said, quote, the value of the lodging provided to Weisselberg's family member constituted income to that family member, and the defendants were required to report that income and to pay withholding taxes to the federal, state, and local tax authorities. The defendants intentionally failed to do so, unquote. Former President Trump said in a statement, quote, the political witch hunt by the radical left Democrats and with New York now taking over the assignment continues. It is dividing our country like never before. Is it really, though? He also said in the statement, do people see the radical left prosecutors and what they are trying to do to 75... what? Oh, what they are trying to do to 75M+++. So he means 75 million voters and patriots for what it is? Oh, boy. He's very upset. So... a pretty big day in that regard, in the ongoing legal troubles of of our former president. And again, he hasn't been indicted, but the company, the great company, I built a great company. His company that he built is in a lot of trouble. By the way, so Jenny and I were talking earlier about she had seen on the news, they kept showing a picture of Donald Trump and Alan Weisselberg. And on the news, who else was in the picture? New Hampshire's own Al Baldessaro. So there you go. Glenn Elrod joins us in the Facebook live chat. By the way, Glenn, first time seeing you in there. Hello. Let's see. So something else that John Monroe brought up in the chat room, and I wanted to get to this because if you're a longtime listener, you know how much I oppose the federal prohibition of cannabis. And I have been, unfortunately, quite discouraged by the Biden administration thus far. I supported President Biden. I supported his election. I wanted Trump out of there, as you know. But I call them like I see them. I've been very happy. I've given the Biden administration an A+ on the response to the pandemic and getting people vaccinated and whatnot. However, I do not give them anything near an A+ on ending the prohibition on cannabis and ending the drug war. I wasn't expecting the Biden administration to come in and end the drug war, but to at least see some progress on cannabis. And all of the signals so far, despite what Joe Biden said during the campaign, where he talked about not only ending the federal prohibition on cannabis. In one debate, he talked about expunging, releasing the records of nonviolent cannabis offenders who are sitting in federal prison right now, releasing them and expunging their records and undoing all of that. And I was very encouraged to hear that, because if you remember that crime bill back in the 90s that Joe Biden used to take so much pride in and so much credit in, so much credit for, until it became politically untenable trying to win the Democratic nomination in 2020, that crime bill, had some pretty tough enforcement, and it actually helped to ramp up the drug war. So I was cautiously optimistic at the beginning of the Biden administration that we might see some progress here, some continuing progress. And I say continuing because we have seen progress in that more and more states have decided to legalize cannabis on a state level. And you might recall during the Obama administration, Obama directed the Department of Justice, Eric Holder, to not do any federal drug raids in states, like leave the dispensaries alone, for example, in states where they had medical cannabis or where they had gone full legal. Let's not interfere with that. Let those states do what they want, which was the correct thing to do. It wasn't enough, and I had a fantasy, by the way, that obviously I knew wasn't going to happen, but I had a fantasy that on his way out the door, Obama would grant clemency to all nonviolent drug offenders in the United States. Obviously, that was never going to happen, and it probably wouldn't hold up anyway, and it would be overturned by the Supreme Court. So probably didn't have the authority to do it. But I did have a fantasy that they were going to do that, that he was going to do that. But John Monroe in the chat says, here in Connecticut, they will be releasing prisoners who are in on weed charges. That's outstanding. Good. That gets left out of the discussion on this a lot, too, by the way. We talk about decriminalizing and legalizing cannabis, but what about the people who are currently in prison for, again, nonviolent drug offenders? We have people sitting in federal prison for no other quote-unquote crime than getting caught with cannabis. And our elected lawgivers and overlords have said that they're not allowed to have such cannabis. But that's the only reason. That is the reason why our prisons are so crowded, by the way. So if you're concerned about prisons being overcrowded, well, there's the reason. There's the reason. It's the drug war. But I was cautiously optimistic, and I've said many times, I think within 5 years, cannabis will be fully legal within the United States. Certain key things will happen. It will be moved off of Schedule 1. It should be descheduled entirely. Right now, it's on the same. What else is on Schedule 1? I think heroin is, for example. Christian LaCoss says, IDGAF, I'll smoke weed right in front of the police station. I would discourage you from doing so, Christian, because Jenny and I don't have the extra money to bail you out. But so I don't think that's a great idea. I mean, we are decriminalized here in New Hampshire, but we can't quite get to full legal. We're surrounded by places where it's fully legal. The bordering states of New Hampshire and Canada are all fully legal, but here in the live free or die state, we just can't quite get there. But at least we've decriminalized. But now the signals coming out of the Biden administration are not good on this issue. They are not good. And a really bad signal was when, and I still can't believe this happened. I still cannot believe this happened when they decided to go ahead and fire everybody who on their disclosure paperwork, everybody in the administration, on their disclosure paperwork, they had acknowledged that they had at some point in their life used cannabis, which, by the way, would apply to just about anybody. I haven't seen any statistics on this, but I think we can fairly assume the vast majority of Americans have at some point in their lives at least tried cannabis. So, and if I'm right, most of the people who filled out those disclosure forms who said no, they had not ever used cannabis, most of them were probably lying, but they didn't want it to come back to bite them. Well, turns out they went through and they fired the people working for the administration who had, in fact, apparently partaken in cannabis at some point. That was shocking to me to see that happen. Absolutely shocking. Do you realize that Joe Biden's own boss during the Obama administration, President Barack Obama, would be disqualified from serving in the Biden administration under that standard? Obama acknowledged he had used cannabis. You know, Bill Clinton had acknowledged it, but, you know, he said he didn't inhale. Of course, no one believes that. George W. Bush apparently had done coke at one point, and he still gets to be president. But for some reason, the Biden administration comes in and they decide to fire everybody who had acknowledged they had used cannabis. Insane. I still am just shocked by that. And they're not showing any movement or any interest on doing anything. I mean, anything to legalize this. And it makes, you know, it really, for President Biden, it really it sort of plays into that caricature of him as just an out-of-touch old man who probably watched Reefer Madness once and didn't get the joke. I mean, really, this is, and I understand this is probably, unless you're a libertarian, this is probably not on your list of top 5 most important political issues in the United States. But it really should be, because there are so many other issues connected to it. Again, if you're concerned about overcrowded prisons, if you're concerned about the fact that we have the highest rate of incarceration in the modern industrialized world in the United States, we put more people in prison per capita than anybody else. There's one reason for it. The drug war. That literally is the reason. It's because, and it's cannabis. It's actually because of cannabis, because we put people in federal prison for possession and use of a substance, of a plant that our elected lawgivers and overlords have decided you're not allowed to have. I'm not being hyperbolic about it. I'm not exaggerating, nor am I being reductive. That literally is the reason why we have more incarcerated people than any modern industrialized country. That is a fact. Civil asset forfeiture, that only happens because of the drug war. There's so many things. The private prison industry, they're out of business if we start letting everybody out who's in prison for a nonviolent drug offense. There's a lot of issues connected to this, and these are the reasons why we continue to have the prohibition of cannabis. This is why we continue to have the drug war. Because people make money on it. People have a financial interest in it, whether it's law enforcement and their use of civil asset forfeiture, whether it's the private prisons and the prison industrial complex, whether it's the pharmaceutical industry. because when people are using medicinal cannabis, they're not taking pills, right? They don't need to as much, right? Big tobacco, because when people are using cannabis, they're less likely to be smoking cigarettes and cigars. All of these influences, because here's the thing. There's no political reason in terms of voters to continue this farce that is the prohibition on cannabis. It's all about the money. It's all about the money. There's no political risk to ending this, because if you look at polling data, at this point, look, libertarians obviously have always opposed any kind of prohibition. Democrats, a majority of Democrats for, as long as I can remember, have actually opposed the prohibition of cannabis, but also Republicans now too. Polling data shows a majority of Republicans in this country. They were the last of the three to come to the table, but they've come around. A majority of Republicans in the United States oppose the prohibition of cannabis. So everybody's kind of on board. You can end that, not necessarily the entire drug war, but you can end that part of it today, and there's not going to be any political backlash. So it doesn't make sense to continue it, right? But what do we always say? If something doesn't make sense, there is a reason. Just follow the money. And when you follow the money, where do you end up? You end up the pharmaceutical lobby, which is very powerful, big tobacco, law enforcement and their civil asset forfeiture, and of course, the prison industrial complex. That's where you end up. It's all about the money. It's always about the money. And I continue to I'm laughing at Christian's comment. I continue to be discouraged by the Biden administration and their, what I view as a lack of interest. And by the way, I know it's early in the administration. So some might say, well, Matt, give him time. It's early. And there's been some other pretty big stuff to deal with, like the pandemic, which, again, I give them an A+ on that. There's a lot of other issues. They're trying to get this infrastructure bill passed, which we do need. I saw a sign the other day on a bridge. I didn't know they labeled them. I was driving over a bridge, and there was a sign on the bridge that said red listed bridge. And then as I see the sign, and then wondering, as I drive over the bridge, is the bridge going to collapse? We need to fix our roads and bridges, plus many other things. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of wheels in motion. But I'll tell you what, give me some hope. Come on, man, to quote our president, give me some hope here. Because I'm not seeing any signals that the administration has any plans of ever getting to this. I don't think they have any interest in it. I don't think they have any appetite for it. I don't think they care. And that is a problem for me. That is a problem. I want to, there's some great comments in the chat, but before I read those, I just want to give the number one more time before we run out of time. If you'd like to enter the discussion, 603-250-6007 is the number, 603-250-6007. You can also text me at 617-917-4476. Tweet me at Matt Connarton, or send an email to matt@mattconnerton.com. But best thing to do, give us a call, 603-250-6007. Dirk Don in the chat, Dirk from Arrogant Media, says, all I want is to legally get stoned while playing World of Warcraft. Although if it's legal, will it still be as fun, Dirk? I don't know. And he's also threatening to strap Christian to the radiator so he doesn't follow through on his threat to get stoned in front of the police station. Christian says, but if you all roll up at my show, all right. John Monroe points out it's still a charge of smoking in public, just like drinking in public. Oh, in Connecticut. Yeah. Christian says, I've played numerous shows and the police up here really don't care about it. Well, yeah. And that's why decriminalization is valuable. We do have decriminalization in New Hampshire. And I remember years ago when they first did decriminalization in Massachusetts, I I remember hearing people say, now it's fully legal there, as it is in all the states that we border. But I remember hearing at the time when they first did decrim en masse that it was kind of a de facto legalization in the sense that once the police could no longer arrest you for it, but only write you a ticket and fine you, they became far less interested in enforcement. So it was, it was sort of legal, just not on paper. You could still get in trouble for it, but law enforcement was far less interested in doing anything about it when the potential consequences to the person being caught had become significantly less. So that does help here. But again, we need to get to full legal. Christian says, Joe Biden's son did crack. Why is he worried about weed? A reference to Hunter Biden. Dirk Don says, this is why I didn't have the mentality to vote for Biden with the reason everyone had of orange man bad, but we should be voting for people who actually represent our ideals. Voting libertarian is seen as throwing my vote away, but I have a better conscience. Well, I can very much relate to what you're saying there, Dirk, even though I did vote for Biden, because typically I do try to vote for third party or non-party candidates. For example, in both 2016 and in 2012, I voted for Gary Johnson. The last presidential election prior to that, where, I did vote for Obama in 2008, but in 2012 and 2016, I voted for Gary Johnson, the Libertarian nominee. But in 2020, I did vote for Joe Biden because, and by the way, I understand, in voting third party, I've heard it many times. Oh, you're throwing your vote away. You're throwing your vote away. But that's when people say that, it is a self-fulfilling thing, right? It's like, well, yeah, third-party candidates don't win, with rare exception. The state of Maine has Senator Angus King, who is an independent, although he does caucus with the Democrats. He's kind of a Democrat by default. But he is on paper at least an independent, and he was an independent when governor of Maine. Jesse Ventura, one of my childhood heroes, Jesse the Body Ventura, he was governor. He won in an upset. He became governor of Minnesota back in, 98, 2000? 98, I think. He became governor of Minnesota as an independent. And, there's Bernie Sanders technically is an independent on paper, but he's, obviously he caucuses with the Democrats. He's more liberal than the Democrats, than most Democrats. So independents can win, but it is a self-fulfilling thing, right? Actually, in 1992, which was the first election that I was eligible to vote in, I was old enough to vote in, I still believe to this day, and most people disagree with me, but not everyone. I have talked to some people who agree with me on this. I still believe that in 1992, if Ross Perot, because you had incumbent president, Republican, George H.W. Bush, you had the Democratic challenger, Bill Clinton, and you had as an independent Ross Perot, billionaire Ross Perot. I still believe that if Perot hadn't weirded out the way that he did, where he freaked out and got out of the race and then said, oops, my bad, and got back into the race, if he had stayed in and not gotten so weird, I think he could have won. I think he was on track to win. He was ahead in the polls. And he still ended up doing pretty well for an independent candidate. So well, in fact, some people to this day do believe that Perot took votes away from Bush and threw the election to Clinton. I actually think Clinton would have won anyway, even if Ross Perot wasn't there, because the economy was crashing and people tend to blame whoever's in charge, whether it's fair or not. And in that particular instance, it probably was not fair, but George H.W. Bush was president at the time the recession came in, so people blamed him. So I think Clinton would have won either way, Perot or not. But I think Perot had a shot. I think he had a shot. But I felt so strongly about the pandemic that I was so upset with Trump's handling of it, or mishandling of it, or lack of handling of it in certain specific aspects. I mean, I give him credit for Operation Warp Speed. So it wasn't all negative, but a lot of it was. And I just felt that Trump was not taking it seriously, seriously enough, and always downplaying it. I saw the pandemic as an existential threat, and I just wanted him out. And so, plus, this time around, the Libertarian candidate, not Gary Johnson, but somebody else. What is her name? Her name escapes me now. I know it. It's right on the tip of my tongue, too. I can't forget her name. The Libertarian candidate this time around she seemed to be a bit of a COVID denier. And, I'm sorry, but I took and I do take COVID-19 very seriously. So anyway, that's my story, Dirk. But I'm with you. I understand what you're saying, and I relate to it. Oh, Jo Jorgensen, thank you. Yeah, she didn't impress me. Jo Jorgensen, I mean, don't get me wrong. Very, very smart, very capable. But her attitudes, some of the things that I had read about her attitudes and comments about the pandemic, I just was really, really turned off by. So there you go. But I do tend to, and this time too, because of how I feel about Trump this time around, in other words, in the 2020 election, I did end up voting mostly for Democrats because I wanted to punish Republicans and the Republican Party any way I could for giving us Trump. I felt that they needed to be punished. So, except for I did vote for Governor Chris Sununu, our Republican governor. He was the one Republican I voted for. But usually I vote for independents, for libertarians, whoever is not, because I want to do my part to throw rocks at the two-party system. So there you go. A little bit of a tangent, but just so everyone knows where I'm coming from on that. But let's we're already almost out of time. Today's gone by so fast. Let's look at this article just quickly. We'll only get through a little bit of it, but it is valuable. So this is what Reason.com put up. Although 44% of Americans live in states that have legalized cannabis, federal prohibition is not likely to end anytime soon, rather. The president supports the ban, and his fellow Democrats do not seem serious about attracting Republican support for repealing it. As of today, recreational use of cannabis is legal in New Mexico, and the same thing will happen in Virginia and Connecticut on Thursday, today. And that's what our new friend John Monroe was saying about Connecticut. This article obviously was from a few days ago. Those states joined two other states that also legalized cannabis this year. New Jersey, which eliminated penalties for possessing up to 6 ounces in February, and New York, where possessing 3 ounces or less has been legal since March. Counting the other states that have legalized cannabis since 2012, but excluding South Dakota, where a successful 2020 ballot initiative is tied up in litigation, 18 states will allow recreational use by the end of this week, representing 44% of the population, of the U.S. population. Meanwhile, the federal government continues to treat cannabis as a highly dangerous drug with no legitimate uses. Simple possession of any amount is a misdemeanor punishable by up to a year in jail, while cultivation and sale are felonies punishable by a prison term of 5 years to life, depending on the amount. I want to stop there for a moment, and there's so much more to this article that we're just not going to get to, but I'll share it out. I think I did share it out the other day, but I'll share it out again. There are people, let me be very blunt. There are people in federal prison serving sentences for possession and use of cannabis who are in there for longer than people who have been convicted of rape. Think about that. If you can stand to think about it. It's so demoralizing to even contemplate, but it's true. It's you might be able to murder someone and serve less of a term under, very certain circumstances, serve less of a term than someone who got caught with some weed. Truly, I'm not being hyperbolic with any of this. I'm not this is facts. This is happening. This is what has been happening and continues to happen. And, I do remember Joe Biden at one point, and I think it was during the 2020 campaign, actually saying that in terms of going full legal, he said, well, maybe we need more research on this. More research for what? What are you talking about? A little bit more here. In the eyes of the federal government, cannabis consumers are criminals so untrustworthy they do not deserve Second Amendment rights, and they can go to prison for up to 10 years if they try to exercise them. State-licensed cannabis businesses are criminal enterprises protected from prosecution and civil forfeiture only by the Justice Department's enforcement discretion and an annual spending rider that is limited to medical use. Although nearly 70% of Americans think cannabis should be legal, that step is too radical for President Joe Biden, a supposedly reformed drug warrior who favors eliminating federal criminal penalties for simple possession, but otherwise wants to maintain the long-standing conflict between state and federal cannabis laws. To give you a sense of how retrograde Biden's position is, President Jimmy Carter endorsed federal decriminalization way back in 1977 when Biden was serving his first term as a junior senator from Delaware, and just 28% of Americans supported legalization. So it goes on. It goes on. I'll share it out again, but we're out of time. We need to wrap up. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to everyone who called and everyone in the Facebook live chat. It was, again, the show went by so very quickly, a lot of participation today, and I do appreciate it very much. And if you missed any part of today's show, it will be up in just a little bit at WMNHradio.org. And, of course, at my website, mattconnarton.com. We put it up there as well. Tomorrow on the show, we will be joined in studio by Gracie Gatto. She is an activist. She's been through a lot. And she's been on the show a couple of times, but I look forward to talking to her again tomorrow. And I believe might be a couple of other people involved too. So it should be really interesting. And that's going to do it for us for now. But again, I will be calling into the Dr. Kevin Show coming right up at 6 p.m. on the Om Times Radio Network, OMTIMES.com. So join us for that. And we'll see what kind of trouble we can get in on that show. Thank you all. Love you all. Talk to y'all a little bit later. Bye, everybody.